All right. Hello, everybody. We are live. Hey, so here we are. I hope you all are feeling well and swell. And welcome back. All right. So, what is in the menu for today? Greetings. Hello, Richard. How are you? All right. So, um, we are going to be conversing and doing some animation practice for today. Hello, Gino. How are you? Cool. So today's live is going to be all about animation, right? So we are going to talk about, Contrabrick, and we're going to talk about, creating Contrabricks and using animations sequence, all right? So let's get on it, right? And the other thing that is going to be, hello, Bartos. Hello. Ah, you see, we are getting better, We are creating, new things, a new theme and everything. Just look at this. If I need to go and it's that cool. Yeah, I mean, it looks nice, right? I had to do like a little bit of color correcting so I could match with all the, purplish of the thing. But yeah, and there is still, a little bit of green stuff coming through the green screen because I'm done with that nonsense with NVIDIA broadcast. Like that thing eats up too much of my resources in my machine to let it be running every day. So I remove it and try to do, the old-fashioned way. But I'm guessing the keyer from OBS is not that good, and I have not been able to find a better one. So maybe for now it's going to be good enough. Anyway, I'm not going to be in your faces all the time. This is just me trying to be as polite as I can, showing my face and saying you all, hello and good day. But let's go and jump in, right, into what really matters today. So I'm guessing like right now you are seeing this wonderful content, right? And for now, I'm not going to be able to check out maybe I should jump with my phone into the stream. So if someone types, I should be able to react. And we're almost there. All right, and we are there. Right, cool. So things are looking fine. What is happening here? All right, that's it. All right, cool. Well, what we are experiencing and watching right here is nothing more but a new learning content from Epic. And this thing is amazing. Even you can go to the marketplace and you're going to see that there is a new category in the free stuff, right? If you come here to to the marketplace and look at this, we are going to check some of these today. Welcome, the new free for the month goodies. Amazing. I was thinking like, when is this thing going to hit? Well, it hit today. Amazing. So what we have here, we have the art of shader, film and special what film and special effects is a series of high-quality film-inspired post-processing materials that can be applied to your scene to give it cinematic look and feel. Well, welcome, of course. And we have the Opera House that says it's a large kit bash set of asset design in realistic style that allows you to create a custom theme, opera, or concert halls. All right, amazing. This new thing is just so good. And we have, of course, the MIA oak forest. You can create your realistic oak forest with procedural foliage under 15 minutes. That is very cool. You know, not only having the actual trees and stuff, right? But having those procedural foliage volumes with everything, you know, procedurally wise already set in, you know, to look natural and stuff. That thing is very, very interesting because no matter if you use those oaks, you can, you know, add your own things, right? Your own trees. And the fact is that is going to be procedurally scattered, you know, through your scene without you having to go, you know, and manually set up things. And again, after you set them on, then you're going to be able to, you know, place them by hand with the foliage tool, which is, you know, also very, very good. We have also a multiplayer ready vaulting with motions. I don't know what vaulting is. It might be some game type that I'm not familiar with. And full body IK. Oh, well, that really rings today's bell. And net prediction of the highest caliber. All right, we might need to check this one out also. And modern house interiors. All right, Amber from CG Pro was asking exactly about something like this yesterday in an MEA that I did for CG Pro. So this is going to go her way very, very soon, knowing that this is a $50, you know, goodie that goes for free. This is looking amazing. All right, good. So plenty of things to check out today. All right, so let's get it all. Add to cart. Let's go here. Let's check out. And that's it. Yep. $400 of free stuff. Why not? Like, why not? Come on. All right. All right, good. Now, let's check out if, for some reason, there is another thing for free, because every month when they set out, you know, all these free stuff from, you know, these are actual contents that will get, you know, full price when the month is over. They're always also, you know, bring other stuff for the permanently free collection. So if we go here pretty soon. Come on, show me the free stuff. Epic. Oh my god, this thing is really... All right, so in the Epic game content, there is nothing new. We're going to be talking about this mannequin pack right here and the Contrabricks sample pack right there, right? And also we are going to be talking about, and we were, you know, before I, you know, derail the whole thing, we were talking about this new free UE online learning. And what you're going to find here is, like they set this new category for things that you are going to find. Let me just go here for a little bit and let me show you what I mean. If we go to Unreal Forum, that's it. All right, let's go back to sharing my screen. So if you go to Getting Started or Library, you're going to get a full set of new tutorials, all right, that are going to be right here. And they have these two new hosts that are going to guide you through everything new and, you know, all the latest news from the educational side of Epic, all right? And everything new about these, you know, about these new tutorials and everything if they happen to need, you to download something to follow along, now they're all going to be in this category right here that for some reason is not opening. But who cares, right? Because we know that it's there, and someday, there might be doing something right now, adding new stuff to it. So yeah, for sure, that thing will or should work maybe on your side. It's not working on mine for some weird reason. But yeah, right. So from right there, from those epic, free stuff, I got these this content right here. All right, and it is a very, very amazing content. I'm guessing it has like all the latest stuff from Quixel Megascans, because they are really looking pretty nice and pretty well. And at the same time, you have, some other cool stuff like interiors, right? If you go here and we come in, you're going to see that we do have, some Quixel Megascans maybe stuff around here, or maybe there are for, from some game that never got to be developed or something like that. Oh, we can see a little bit of the UV repetition here. What a shame. All right, so as you see, we have a bunch of new stuff here, like, and everything, I'm guessing. No, this one is a full, complete thing. We have these back here, and we have, many things for us to be what's inside the box. Let's check it out. Nothing. Right? Not even Lumen gets inside this box. A little bit. All right, so this one is one of those contents that is offered for free for you to come, and explore. And there should be, I'm guessing, there should be some learning content in those forums, tutorials. And if you follow it, you're going to find out, pretty nice, classes and tutorials on how to, create stuff and do all these wonderful things. All right. So this is the town of Northwood. Great. Now, let's just explore it a little bit and see, what we get. I know that it has this water system that is pretty nice, right? You can see that it does have like this foam near stuff, which is something that is great, right? And we have, also, some rocks that have, these little bit of higher roughness. Which is also very, very good. We have a couple of, nothing goes without arrows, right? So we do have some issues with these decals. For some reason, when we get too far away, they simply disappear. And I know that they're not decals. So these are particles, Niagara particles. That being said, maybe it's because I'm running this in 5.2 preview 1, that version that I downloaded and compiled, and I'm testing everything new, in this thing. To tell you the truth, it's more amicable with streaming because it runs a lot lighter than 5.1. So I'm using this one just because it's a lot leaner, to run at the same time as streaming, which is very good. Right, so we have these water systems. We have, some big, interiors, filled with, stuff. And let's bring a little bit more light inside here, all right? And we are going to do that through the post process. And in the post process, if you go down until you get to the global illumination, there is a new Lumen Global Illumination Advanced, and you're going to have this skylight leaking, right? This thing is right there to help you with this darkness on enclosed sites. And all you need to do is, bring it up just a little tad, and you're going to have a little bit more light around, right? So that is like the way to go nowadays, right? To bring a little bit more light, and you can use it and abuse it, a little bit more, maybe 0.5, and now you get a little bit more light in. All right, good. I can see that there are a couple of cameras. I believe there should be some sort of sequencer, maybe. Let's see. Sequencer? Nope, there's no sequencer. There may be a bunch of cameras. Yeah, there are a lot of cameras. All right, cool. We may explore them and see what they can show. But as you see, you have this full thing for free for you to download and start, using it. And we're going to use it today exactly for the reason of learning or, going through a little bit of animation, right? And this is where these four guys, comes along. And what they are is, as I told you, right here, if this thing were to work someday, will you show me something free? All right, so these are these two guys right here, right? This is the mannequin pack. Do you remember the time when for you to have like a mannequin inside your scene, you had to go and open up your content browser and go add, and then add feature or content pack, and then you had to bring in the third person so you could have a couple of mannequins in. Well, now they are their own thing, all right? Now they are their own content that you can download and use, and they are wonderful. Like, they have so many surprises in it that it's really it's really good to download and start exploring. And at the same time, they have these new Contrabricks sample packs that have, for example, this character right here, right? This is Orange Man. No, his name is what? He's Bungee Man, right? And he's called Bungee Man for a good reason. And that is because it uses a new thing that you can achieve with Contrabrick, and that is stretching. So let's open up, the Contrabrick for this character really fast so I can show you what I mean. And it has, its own, poses and showcase. But as you see, Contrabrick has evolved like a lot. Now, I was, checking out this thing this whole week, getting along with all the new system of rigging, and it's pretty different than what we used to do. Now everything seems much more, how can we say it, procedural in some sense. Like, you now are going to have, these arrays where you are going to be setting your, almost in the same fashion as the new IK retargeter. You create, your chains here, and then those chains, you need to pair them up with the controls, and then, these setups functions, because now you can have functions inside Contrabrick, and you can check them out right here. Right? So now the Contrabrick is not just a brick graph. Now you can have those functions that will, take in different inputs, and you don't need to go and, connect them. You can call them by their names as variables, right, inside those functions. And this is nowadays how you create new Contrabricks. It might look weird, but it's very, very useful. Like, you now have this new construction event that will take care of, all the creation. So that means that it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter, the type of character that you bring in, if it has, the same, amount of bones, and the naming scheme of the bones is the same. It doesn't matter the size or the pose of the character, or the proportion for that matter. Now this construction part is going to take care of that, because everything that centering all the controls into the appropriate bones, no matter where they are or how they are bent, now it's possible with this new construction event, which is pretty automatic. Like, all you need to do is to set up all the bones here and all the controls here, and the thing is going to connect itself pretty easy. The forward solve keeps being the same, and you have also the backward solve for when you want to bake the controls. which is also, amazing. It's still working the same. And as you see, everything is procedural now. Long gone are the times where you had to do like a bunch of different, boxes and nodes, connected to each other to make a full rig. Nowadays, it's this simple, and it gets even simpler. I'm going to show you pretty soon how, they create a new Contrabrick that is even simpler to connect and to make everything work. So yeah, this is our dude. So let me show you what you can do with it and why is, this special. Or maybe, all right, let's jump out here and let's open up these bungee man poses and let's jump out of this level for, this is the old West learning. I know that we need to come back to this one. I'm going to save it. All right, and let's open up these bungee man poses, and you're going to see that there is something special about this guy, and that is that you can not only pose him and do some animation with it, but it will stretch, and you can use hyperbole movement with this character, meaning that you can change the size of many of the different controls, and that will in turn change the size of the actual character. And as you can see, it will have these amazing stretching, very useful for when you are animating caricatures and not for real characters. And you can exaggerate the use of the 12 principles of animation, in the case of stretching and compressing and doing all those new beautiful things of that you do while you animate with this new character. Just look at this, the things that you can achieve, right? This is impossible, right? This is like faking some sort of lens thing, but this is the normal, this thing. The field of view of 90 is like an 11 millimeters lens, and still you get some sort of a very an even lower, maybe like a, I don't know, like a fake 4 or something like that lens. And yeah, that is what this character does. So let me maybe grab the actual Contrabrick and let's play with it. And it does have these in-between controls that will allow you to do, weird things like, stretching to the sides, right? Which is also good. And we also have the actual stretching. So I'm not digging the fact that they use the circle control, because the circle control has, for many, many months. Oh, it is. It is a forward kinematic. So if I move it, it will stretch. Oh yeah, it does stretch. All right, cool. So there it is. And I believe it should have some sort of maximum stretching. No, it's not. But as you see, it not only stretches, but it also creates, the effect of the stretching, which is also wonderful. I know that these ones, for example, do have a maximum. Oh no, they don't have a maximum. Maybe they have like a way of setting up a maximum, so you cannot stretch, as far as you want. And that's it. That is what this new character brings to the table, which is very, very, very good. All right. So in those terms, this character is very good if you want to do some sort of I don't know, like a animation practice. This is more in line to what you will find in a DCC as an actual rig, right? It's, you're going to do all the stretching, the anticipations, the compressions, the elongation, everything is going to be working here. So this is a very, very good Contrabrick to start playing with. And just let me take a look, because this dude maybe, I don't know if it has a picker. I don't believe it has a picker, but right, if I found out that it has a picker, I will do a shout out, in our next live, right? So what else? What else? Let's see. Let's turn off this character sequencer, and we have that ghostly shadow. And let's go to the mannequin. This is the other content, that we just unloaded. And if we go to rigs, you're going to find out that there are a couple of post-processing rigs. And let me show you what they are. So I'm going to drop this guy as a mesh, right? And there it is. All right, so if you were to connect this character to your live link and stuff like that, you now are going to be able to do it, and you're going to be using these Contrabricks right here that there are post processes, Contrabricks. So there are devices exactly to do that kind of work, right? But if you want to animate, in a more traditional way, you have available the all, it's all but not old. Like, it does have the same amount of controls and everything is very like it. So let me show you how that is. Let me create here a new cinematic level sequence, open it up, and let's drop our friend Manny here. That's it. And as you can see, it really looks the same, right, as what we are accustomed to with this character. Maybe there are a couple more controls, like right here. These are new, and I believe these one are the roll of the finger, the whole finger, right? So you don't have to go and select, the old-fashioned way, having to select this one and this one and this one, and then having to, do this. Nowadays, you can do exactly that by selecting the roll, right? So this is what it does, this new control. But for the most part, it's the same old, same old. By default nowadays, it will come for the top, for the arms. It's going to be FK, forward kinematics, by default, all right? So if you want to start posing your character, it's going to be in a forward kinematic fashion by default, and it will come with IK, or inverse kinematic, for the foot, right? So this one works in this, exact fashion, right? So this is very good if you want to start, animating with this, with a character. This is like the way to go, right? Again, the Control G key will set up, that actual control that you have selected to its resting pose or T pose, right? And if you want to do that for all the controls, all you need to do is Control Shift G, and that will reset the whole control to its resting position. Nowadays, you need to have at least one control selected for the Control Shift G to work, and that is because now Unreal expects you to have more than one character in the scene. So, for example, if I deselect everything and I hit Control Shift G, it doesn't return, right? And that is because you need at least one control selected, and then, the Control Shift G will, work on that particular control brick, right? So that way, if you have like more than one control brick around and you hit Control Shift G, you don't set all your characters, to a default T pose. That might not be what you want, right? All right, so how to change the, the arms to IK? Well, pretty easy. Nowadays, with these new anim details window or tab that opens up automatically whenever you have some sort of brick into your sequencer, what it will do is it will show every controls plus a transform if you want to start setting up your keys here, so you don't have to rely on opening this thing and going all the way down and having everything here. So it's a lot easier just to keep that anim detail window open, and you can start picking whatever you want to switch or animate through here. All right, so for example, I want to change, sorry, a little bit of an allergy today. So if you want to, for example, switch the arms to be for inverse kinematics, well, you're going to do it through here, right? So that way you can change them both to inverse kinematic, and now you can start, moving them, in a puppeteer, fashion, right? And that is how you will move it. Cool. So that's it. Right. A couple of things, just as tips. Many animators are always, complaining about the fact that you need to choose one of the axes of the, how is this thing called? The rotation tool, right? Well, if you come here to the hamburger, viewport options, and you go advanced settings, right here, a little bit to the downside, you're going to find this rotate. So you can use screen rotate and also the arc ball rotate. So let's turn on the arc ball rotate and show you what that is. As soon as you turn it on, you're going to be able to select the center of a rotator and do, some rotation that way. All right. So it's a lot easier sometimes when you want this thing to, rotate in a particular way. Well, with the arc ball rotation, that is what you get. All right. The same as you have, the center, tool control to move it. You should have one, right, to do the actual rotation, which is, amazing to have. And the other one that is really, really useful is the screen rotate, right? Because again, sometimes you don't want to go and be changing, these from local to world coordinates. What you can do is, you may be working always on local, and if you need to do some particular movements that you want, you can, move your camera until you get into that particular place, and you can rotate with. So it's going to be on your view coordinates, right? So now you're going to have available your view coordinates, your local coordinates, all right, and also your world coordinates, all right, if you want it. So it's also, pretty amazing. I know sometimes, when you want this character, to be looking at you, it's a lot easier, to grab it through the center, and then you can, use your actual view to do this kind of movements, right? And that might not be available depending, what you're trying to do, right? So that is pretty awesome. Another thing is that I'm guessing somewhere. So now we have also in this, so to get to those IK controls, you get them by selecting the global control. That is this huge rhombus type of, it's not a rhombus, this is an hexagon, right? No, it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, it's a hexagon. All right. So selecting this huge hexagon, it's like selecting the global controls, and you're going to have all these switches right there, right? And you can also do an IK spline for your spine, right? And that means that you can, turn it on right here. And these now will work on a IK fashion, I believe. This is the neck, sorry. So these should be the, yeah. So you can now control, and if you grab, the whole, the center with the arc rotation, you can see that, the whole spine is being controlled by just one middle control, which is, maybe for animation purposes, really easy, right? And you have this one, so you can, move the tangent a little bit, right? If you, need to do some minor adjustment, of that fashion. But the whole rotation is going to be driven by this IK right here, which is also very, very practical. Lastly, you have one of those also. And let me just stop right here, because now you can see that we have this new spine stretch switch. And this one is also amazing because now you're going to be able to, I believe, to stretch it. So maybe I should grab this one. No, this is for the neck. So it should be a way for me to stretch the, maybe like this. All right. So this should allow you to start using, this selected. Now it's stretching And now it's not stretching. Oh, all right, I get it. So if you place, your control too high and you want the to cause a stretching of the bones, you're going to have to turn this on. And now you're going to have the stretching, right? And that is for all the new, for both Manny and Queen, they're going to have these stretching things all around. I believe you're going to find them for the arms. So, for example, if you grab an IK arm, right, and you stretch it, long enough, it's going to be a time where it's going to stop, and then you can keep pulling the control. And that, might be what you want if you don't want to stretch the arm. But now, if you select this one, you should be able to stretch that arm. So you're going to have to pull it where you want it and then turn on, the stretching. And you're going to get that stretching, which is very, very amazing. Very, very good. Oh, but I don't know why we keep losing it. That's a thing, from this new sequencer, and that is, to show you a little bit of the bad also, is that if you don't key anything and you move around, you're going to lose, everything that you just did. I just have auto key, and that's why, every time I move something, I get a new key. But sometimes these kind of things like the stretching, I believe we need to key. Now, if I move around, it should stay. And if I, keep moving this up, it will stay. But you saw that if this thing is not key, it's going to start, reverting, to the original thing. So last thing, this is very, very old, but it's always, a good thing. You can at any point, start adjusting your poses, right, with IK. And if you need at some point, to use the forward kinematics, you can switch it on the fly whenever you want. So for example, this hand is going to be doing, this thing here, but at this point I want it to change, right? This is the left arm. So I'm going to go left arm, left IK. This is the leg, arm, right, arm left, this one right here. So you can key it, right? And one frame forward, you can turn it off. And as you see, that issue that we had before with the other IK, now it's solved. Now the IK is on point every time, meaning that you can switch between IK and forward kinematic. So you can keep, right, animating this thing with forward kinematic if you need it. And this is mostly used if you need this guy to do like a wave. Is a lot easier, to create, this sort of, waving animation, right? Because, you're bound to have, like this axis from which, the movement should happen. And once you're done with that animation, right? So you could come here and go like that and go here and go like that. So you will have that kind of animation, right? And at some point you want to engage again, inverse kinematics. Well, you select your global controls, you set up your key. So you hold, the fact that it is, IK, and then you go one frame forward, and you can turn on forward inverse kinematics. And it did a little bit of a jank. I believe it's not. Maybe this is never going to be perfect. I was testing it and it was a lot better. But this time around, it did, pop that thing there. All right. So maybe, with keying, this thing also will help, but who knows, right? So that's a thing, right? What else? Well, let me show you a little bit around these new, and to tell you, why it's new and it's not the old one. So if you open up the Contrabricks, you're going to find out that it is very, very different as to what it was before. And that is because it start using, all these functions, right? Just in the same way as the Bungee Man Now everything is, created with these arrays elements where you have, in some the controls and in some you have the bones, and the thing is going to be connected, through only one function, right? And you do all the functionality inside these functions, so you can double click them and visit them, and everything is procedural here. So if by some reason, right, you want to reuse this Contrabrick on another character and it does have more bones, all you need to do is, to add the new bone here and the new control here, and the thing is going to be automatically, connected again, right? And that is because, we have this new construction event, right? So we'll allow you to use this same Contrabrick on different characters, even though there might not be in the same pose or with different proportions, all right? So that is what it is, all right? Cool, cool, cool. That being said, there is one new Contrabrick, and this is this one right here that is called the Contrabrick Mannequin Basic Biped, right? So we have the mannequin body, and we do have this new one. So let's test this one out and see what it has. All right. So let's. So when we want to create a new Contrabrick, we don't right click. We do it through the tracking, right? So we go track, and we go Contrabrick, and we go asset-based Contrabrick. And as you see, there are a couple here. The one that we want is the basic pipe, this one right here, right? And once we select it, oh, it's broken already. Really? All right, let's see. Let's select one control and hit Control Shift G, and that is not fixing it. All right, I'm blaming 5.2 because now I believe 5.2 just crashed. All right, and it's not even 5.2. It's simply the fact that 5.2 is not released yet, so there might be new things being added, and bug squashing and stuff like that. So what I'm going to do is to grab this Unreal and kill it, and let's start it over again. So right there. And let's wait just a little bit while it opens. So I'm going to show my ugly mug for a moment while this thing opens. And I'm very, very happy for you all to be here. And we are reaching, it is not a goal because we might even surpass it, at some point, and it shouldn't be a big deal. But we are getting to 3,000 people following the channel, which, is mind blowing knowing that this channel doesn't have even 1 year. So yeah, it's like very, very weird. Oh, I'm having such a bad chroma thing right there. Oh my God, let me see. Should I? The other way around, maybe? Let me check it out. All right, yeah, maybe a little bit like this. All right, cool. So I'm guessing we are at something like 3,940 subscribers, and very, very soon we're going to be hitting the 3,000. So I want to do like live, counting down, those silly things, about Unreal and being aware, that we might, we have a lot more. Oh my God, how this happened? So we do have a lot more people saying hello, and I didn't notice. This freaking thing didn't told me for some reason. All right, so let's read a little bit here. So yeah, Bardos, that opera thing looks really, really amazing for sure. And yeah, the Archv's new interior looks pretty amazing. Hello, Marino. Your shiny sun always upon us. bringing us warmth and brightness for sure. Thank you, thank you, thank you for your sons. And same problem here, global issues. Yeah, for sure. Your chat with Corey? Oh, Bardos, for sure. Yes, 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 yes. Question, is there an auto keying option to enable like in Maya? It is. Yeah, sure. Let me show you how. All right, this thing hasn't started yet because it was asking me for something that I didn't hit OK, but now it will open up pretty soon. So we're going to get to that pretty soon. Hello, hello everybody. Hello, Hossein. How are you? Right, cool, cool, cool. So we have Team Paiva Felici right here representing. Very cool. Amazing. All right. So are we already there? Nope. It's still loading up. Come on. All right. There it is. It's coming. And we are here. Cool, cool, cool. So let's go to an empty level for now, just because we are testing those new Contrabricks, which are, you know, completely bonkers and amazing. So we were, I'm going to have to create a new level sequencer and turn it on. And let's go here and drop our mannequin meshes, mannequin right there. Let's throw him inside here, and we're going to delete the control brick for now, and we're going to add that new control brick and see, because let me just open it up so you know what are we facing. And that is that this thing, as soon as you turn it on and you want to, you know, as soon as you open it on the Contrabrick editor, this happens. Like a lot of issues, you know, and it says that it's trying to do some sort of recursions, and that is because this thing is like 100% obfuscated. Like this is the whole, you know, thing. This is the whole Contrabrick, right? So this is procedural as it goes. It's madness here, you know. This is, all right, let's try to do this in the less amount of steps possible and make everything, you know. They are even doing something pretty weird, like this thing, preparation for backward solves here. If you go inside this thing that is called find the closest bone, like it is selecting a control and is searching the closest bone, and that is the thing that is used to create a control brick, which is bonkers, right? But as you just saw, for some reason it fails. Like if I compile it here, the head doesn't, you know, go sideways. And we do have this thing right here, you know, with the numbers of recursion, and it said the limit is 500. So you can change that if you go to the class settings and under here, no, under here, yeah, you have the node run limit, and you can, you know, set this pretty high. We're gonna have to set it like very high because one of those things is asking for more than 11,000 recursions somehow, right? Once you set it on 12,000 recursions, if you now compile, you should not get, you know, that issue right there, right? It's just a warning, right? But if you don't want to be dealing with that, yeah, you simply set a higher limit here, and that would do it. So I'm going to save this thing and let's turn it off, and let's see if we now can make it work on this character. So it should be as easy as hitting track and control brick, and we're going to add the basic biped, right? And no, it is broken. So let me check out, because what might be happening is that this particular is not for this character. Let me show you what I mean. If you go to mannequins and you go to meshes, you're going to find out that you have mani and you have mani simple. It may be that this one works only on the simple and not on mani. The different might be, this one has 89 bones, and this one has 161 bones. So this one is it does have many more bones than this one, mainly because it may have those new bones that prevent, awful deformations in the elbows and in the knees and in the very, close spaces, right? Like in the shoulder and stuff like that. So you can rotate them and fix, shoulder deformation. So that particular one might not be for this character. So what I'm going to do is delete this one and go to the outliner, select this mani, and delete it also. So let me go to selection mode. Cool. And let's bring in this mani simple. I'm guessing like this is the actual issue, right? And now I'm going to do the same, add him here. And even though it comes with the normal one, we're going to delete it. And let's try to add that new Contrabrick basic biped. No, it's broken also. This is weird. So let me show you a secret, right? I'm going to close this sequencer, delete this guy right here. There is a way. So if you have a Contrabrick, you can add it to a scene like right there. What it will do is we'll add the actual character, open up a sequencer. Oh, look at that. Okay, so it's not broken inside here, but it's broken as soon as you put it out into the wild, which is not good news, right? So why is this thing happening here? Well, I'm guessing it's just a silly thing. So I'm guessing if I try to do this, nope, it won't let me. All right. So far for this thing working correctly. I was amazed using this one. I didn't, add it to a scene and test it. So let me see if by any means someone is telling me like, you are such a fool. That is not how you use it. Nope, everybody is as dumbfounded as me. All right, that's good. So I was liking this one very, very much because this one is getting more and more into what is a really, really good rig. And the big thing is on the feet, right? This thing has, the normal IK control, right? You can grab it and you can move, the IK. All right, I might not be able to do this thing from here. So what I'm going to do, just not to risk a crash, going to delete it, and we're going to test it inside the actual Contrabrick window, because here it does work for some reason, right? So let's go here, let's go there, and let's test it right there. All right, let's turn that one off. And that's it. So we do have the same, IK controls that as we had before, right? We can, use the IK, and we have the actual rotation, right, of the feet. We do have, the knee pointing towards thing, right? The pole vector right there, and everything is working fine. But let me show you the other thing that it does have. It has, if you, right, it does have the actual, bringing the foot forward, but also it has this one right here. So we are getting there, guys. Like, this is a true, very good inverse foot solution, right? So we do have this, and it does have like a limit. You cannot go further than this, which is very, very good. This one should, oh, it doesn't. Maybe it's another one that is not this one. Oh yeah, because it's this one. So if you do it with this one, it's just that. Wait a minute. I know. Maybe it's this one. No. All right, and we do have this one in the back to do, the heel. Yeah, the heel, rotation and movement, right? The sliding So we are getting there. We're getting a much better rig, this time, and knowing that this thing, oh, this is the one that I was looking for. So you have the actual, deformation, and it will go through the, through the heel, right, and then to the plant, and then to the ball roll, and then to the tip roll, right? So this is like walk-in cycle 101 in just one control, which is completely bonkers, to have this thing like that. I don't know how many other secret this thing has, but for some reason this one lacks the new roll of the fingers. So at some points, I know that someone is going to take. I hope it's not me, really. Is going to take the time and mix them all together, right? To have the actual green dot here control for the full rolling of the hand, and all that great stuff. So this one have this thing for the arm, for the shoulder. This one is also present on the other one. But for example, it comes already with a IK spine, right? So this one will not allow you to have like one control per spine. You have like one control for the full IK, because now, let me just show you. If you come here and type IK, so you have different, IKs, and we used to have only, the basic IK, but now we have this fabric or FABR IK, and this one will allow you to create an IK chain of more than 3 bones, right? So this way you can, solve things like it's like a full body IK for a big chain. So you can do like tails and ponytails and hair and other stuff that you want to animate, on a long chain. Well, this one will allow you to do exactly that, right? So what else? What else is new in the world of animation? So this one is great, and now I can see that the head is doing some weird stuff, and I just save it. It doesn't matter. It might be something with 5.2, but don't you worry, that is going to be fixed for sure, on our next when it's released, right? All right, cool. Do we have more comments or questions? All right, Helion, hello. How are you? Welcome. All right, cool. So let's check out what else, we have in store, from those wonderful, for all of you who are just joining, what we are doing. We are revising, all these new things, and it's not this, all the new Unreal Engine educational content. So we are checking out that wonderful all Western type of map of town, and also let me see if we can open the free thing here. Yeah, here it is. And also we are checking out this mannequin pack. That was what we were just looking at. So we check out the Bungie Man, and we check out these both characters, and now we have we also have this big thing right here, so we can check it out and see how it is working, right? So that one is going to be, if you go to characters, and so how can I see my live chat here? I'm guessing I can't. No, right? So we also have this new mech, right? And we can grab our mesh and drop our skeletal mesh. So you see it's pretty wonderful. All right, so we're going to move away from the center just because, I need to have game, UI view, because I want to check out the Contrabrick from this thing, right? So we are going to open up a new cinematics devil sequence, double click on it. Let's grab it, let's drop it. And here it is. So this is non-bipedal, organic type of Contrabrick. And let's check out, what does it offer. So I'm believing, because this is a square, that this is some sort of IK movement. It does have a little bit of jankiness there, but for the rest, it looks pretty amazing. Like the fact that you can create like a walking cycle, and it's wonderful to see how the IK, chain doesn't react, completely, but it does have some sort of, it will move from here to there without, affecting this shape right here. And then when you want to pull it even further, then this one will activate. So this is a very nice achieve, rig, even though we do have a little bit of, and these things, that thing right there, those are, extreme issues. Every time you take a rig to to extreme, like it is too elongated, you can for sure, having those issues, right? So let's try not to bring it, all the way around. And oh my God, it does have like physics on the thing. So if you, jerk it, you see the hoses moving around. Oh, that thing is amazing. All right, cool. Very, very, very nice secrets in this new thing. We have the slide of the feet, right, with this control. And we also have a couple other controls here. And I'm guessing these are forward kinematics. Yeah, exactly. This you can use, to fix a little bit of, those movements right there. And what else? We do have like a little bit of a control here, just, for these parts right there, for these little toes, right? Controls, and we have controls for the hoses, like this. Oh yeah, cool. Very, very nice. And as you see, it is using the new stretching, system, right? You can keep stretching it, and it will change, the actual length of the hose, which is pretty awesome, right? So we do have like a central control, and this is going to be like a hip control, in which, you can, move it around and do a little bit of a dance, like, and you have the knee pointing, right? The pole vector for the knee of this thing. This is so cool, guys. This is amazing. I'm guessing this is also it's like a forward to inverse kinematic thing, because I'm forward, rotating this thing, and the full IK change is firing up, which is also amazing. All right. What else? I don't know why should someone want this, but maybe it's not made for rotating because of the shape. It is a star, so these may be like firing, right? And this thing is, all right, is the height, and will it rotate? Oh, it does rotate. Cool. So this is a very nice control, because it will allows you to use this aiming, right? Not only, so it will control the aim, the height of the cannon when you move it up and down. And just look at this, thing working here. So these are compressing when you, change the height of the cannon. Look at that. And I was wondering how they did it, and now I see that it's a cheap, really cheap trick. And that is that this thing is not rigged. This thing has like a bone running through the whole, piston. And what it's doing, it has like a bone from here to there and from here to there. And just this bone right here is compressing. right? So it's not going inside, this part of the piston. It just gives you the idea that it's doing that, but what it's really doing is compressing, and you can see it because of the, the UV on the thing, also compressing. But it does, the job. It really, shows like it is doing that, which is, in the big scheme of things, pretty nice. We do have also this one that might be like a shooting thing, right? You could, very good. We have a couple of hoses down here that we can also play with. And that's it for the most part, right? You have the full root control where you can, replace this dude somewhere else. And yeah, that's it. This is a wonderful, wonderful, free gift for anybody who wants to do organic biped, realistic animation. And you have the Bungee Man if you want to practice things like, ex, over the top animation with elongation and stretching and compression and stuff like that. And if you want to do some realistic, inorganic animation, this is, the thing to go. What does that thing does? Oh, this open. Cool. What's inside? Nothing. Grease. I thought that it would have like some chaff dispensers or something like that. But cool. It does open. Oh, nope. All right. Go back where you were. So cool. There is one last thing here that is not like a character or a, or a, machine. And that is a silly. So if you go to characters, you go to Contrabricks, you have also a prop. And if you open that prop, you're going to have this box. And what's in the box? What's in the box? So you can drop this cardboard right here, right? And it's an epic, very, it's very in the, Fortnite fashion, like very simple, right? But let's see the controls of this one, because this thing is fully rigged, right? So let's go outliner. Let's bring our cardboard inside our sequencer, and you just check that it didn't create a Contrabrick by default, and we can change that, and I can show you how. But if you set it inside your sequencer and it's not there, all you need to do is, if you're not baking, you track. So you hit track and you go Contrabrick, and you should be able to get that card box Contrabrick, and it's right there. Now, if you want that thing to happen automatically, you gotta do one thing, right? And that is to open this card box skeletal mesh, right? You're going to double click on it. Once you get there in the mesh category of the persona editor, you're going to asset detail, and you're going a little bit down until you get to this default animating rig, right? And you want to set this as your CR card box, right? Your control rig card box. And that's it. You save it, you close it, and then the next time you grab it and drop it inside sequencer, it will have the control rig right there for you to start using, all right? The same you can do with sometimes, metahumans. You want metahumans to, maybe you want to choose a different control brick, so you want it to be without a control brick when you add it to a sequencer, because you may want to use like mockups or stuff that you already have. You don't want to be, dropping the control brick and deleting everything. So this is the way to do it. You open up the skeletal mesh and you go down until you check out the default animation brick, and you can simply select it to clear, to none. And that will, in fact, the next time you drop it into a sequencer, it simply won't add control brick by default, right? So that is the way to go. All right, so we are still 18 strong. So do we have questions? Do we have some comments? Right, let's check it out. Right. So, oh, do you know what? I never answer the thing about the auto key. I will right now, right? Um, okay, so we have the issue with Contrabrick might have to do with the bone rotation and location that you're setting before you do the IK. I haven't seen that in your graph. Looks like though. All right, so yeah, those graphs are complete different than what we used to see. So if I had that issue in a normal, like 10 months ago, like a year ago, Contrabrick, I would know how to fix it. But I don't know if you just check it out. Those are, completely different right now. There are completely, procedural, and, to start checking out what could be wrong with that Contrabrick, it might be hell to pay. Let me just show you what do I mean. Like, this thing is obfuscated like hell. Like, this thing, to know why that head is not rotating as it should, it might be a little bit difficult, right, to say the least. And that is because, nowadays this thing, it may be on the, I don't think it is in the construction graph event, but in the setup, yeah, right here in the forward solve. And yeah, there might be something around here that may be wrong. But as you can see, now everything is not as we used to, right? Now everything is created by, create like, for example, this thing is the leg, right? And it should be as simple as creating, like, this is the old thing that we used to know as a IK, function. But now you can connect, both bones and controls, and it will take care of everything by assigning, the names of the bones and the name of the controls in these arrays. So it's a lot simpler, nowadays. It will do the IK or FK, switch right there. So everything is like in one place. And I believe this one is the left side, so you should have the same thing for the right side somewhere. Or you may even get the like an inversion that will do both sides at the same time. Let me just show you. So as you see, it will create a normal IK, but it will run, a couple of times, depending on how many, things are selected, and it's not, easy nowadays. So yeah, to start checking them out, you're going to have to sit down and study a lot, on how this thing is working and how they devised this to be so simple, and yet, simple in the number of, nodes are happening here. Let me just show you how this used to look, because I'm doing these giveaways. I'm trying to do these giveaways on every new stream, but I wasn't able to finish it on time, so it might not be for this particular live, but we might get it, pretty soon, because I'm planning on doing another live before next week, just because we are about to hit, those 3,000 subscribers to the channel. And we might do, a special, we might review this new free for the month stuff, like this thing here. Oh, and there are new things. That was what I was trying to find out, like all the new things apart from the free for the month. Like, we could, maybe on Tuesday, on Thursday, we could check out, a couple of these and see, what they are. I'm very interested in this post-processing and see how good they are, because this is a thing that is really missing. There are a couple of paid post-processing that are pretty amazing. But at the same time, there are not like cinematographic type of, things. These are, film inspired, which really rings a bell with me. I want to see, how good they are and what they are trying to emulate, right? So we might get to, take a view on everything new here, right? Maybe on Thursday, while we get lucky and we are going to hit, right, those 3,000 subscribers and have a little bit of a toast and everything, now that everything is getting a little bit more serious, with all these new paraphernalia, right, the chroma, the new camera, the new mic, now, with all that, I just had a meeting with a graphic designer to do the whole logo and corporation identity, right, with colors and everything. So he has been just paid the advance, and he is starting creating all those new things. But another thing that we are going to be able to talk about this week is this Mixamo thing here. This won't come with those two, either the mannequin or the metal piece right here. This is something that I'm devising because one mentee that I have in CG Spectrum was asking me like why there is not a Contrabrick for a Mixamo character, and I was like, yeah, nobody really uses Mixamo characters, and he was telling me like, yeah, I'm not using a Mixamo character. I have my own character that I uploaded to Mixamo, so it got fully rigged, and then he downloaded fully rigged and skin, and I was like, oh yeah, now that I remember that thing, that web application is still working, so you can upload your character or any character that doesn't even have bones, and Mixamo will bone it. That sounds pretty weird, but yeah, it will create the bones and the binding of the skin, and for the most part it's really good if you really provide like a very wide T-pose with the legs a little bit spread out. It will do a very good job. So, and that means that then you're going to download it, and it's going to be in that hideous, non-root, type of skeleton, from Mixamo. This thing right here that starts with a hip, it doesn't have, the root bone, which makes it very hard and weird, to do retargeting and do all those kind of stuff. So to simplify things, I'm just creating a control brick for a Mixamo character. I searched the web a little bit to see if I could find one. I was not able to find one. And, this is how things used to be, this easy, right? Forget about, that stuff of, recursion and for each and arrays. And this is a true, the old-fashioned way of doing Contrabrick, and that is you going through each and every one of your bones and assigning a control to it and blah blah blah. So this big thing that you see here, these are the fingers. There are 5 fingers per hand, with 3 controls, right, for each phalange. And yeah, this is how it used to be. So if something fails with this one, I can go here and check the actual box, right, that is creating the issue. But with that new thing, it's like, yeah, you need to sit down, open a bottle of wine and start, following the thread and see what everything does. So I'm guessing that once you get into how that new thing is working, it should be a lot easier, right, to make things work, because it might just be some misname into one of those arrays that is creating the issue. That might be what is happening with that one for sure. But yeah, so this is going to be, so let me show you how far am I with this thing. So everything is working. We have the actual construction event. So this will ensure that no matter the size of the character, the new Mixamo character that you can bring in, or the change on the proportion of the actual character, it will adjust, right? It will take the actual control and will take it to the bone that it should be assigned, right? So if you have a character that has longer arms, this hand IK will just go and fetch that hand bone and will be in place, right? So that is that's what really amazed me about this construction event. This thing is new. So even though it might be a little bit, old-fashioned way, this thing is working perfectly, right? So I'm going to devise it fully IK. I don't care about forward kinematic this thing. I'm even thinking about creating the IK new thing for the spine. So it should be like IK for the spine and IK for the feet and IK for the hands, and only having, a little bit of forward kinematics for like the shoulders, right? So you want to have these as the clavicle, right? To have some adjustment there. But for the most part, I want this thing to be fully IK because if you're bringing animation from Mixamo to your Mixamo character, you really are not going to be animating by default. So you want something that you can bake to controls and do some fine animations. And if you want to do like additive type of animations, you have the forward Contrabricks, right? So you're going to be able to do those if you really want. And you're going to have the thing that, the forward IK brick. Sorry, the FK Contrabrick doesn't have, and that is, of course, having the IK control. So this one is going to be fully IK if I can, make it work. And so the control, the construction event for this one is completely ready. The forward is also completely ready, and some of the controls for the backward solve are working. All right. So I'm guessing if I also connect this one, it will start working for the, for the hand. The only thing that won't work is the pointing of the pole vector. And because that one is created by some measuring the angle of the upper bone and the forearm, and then thinking where that thing should be pointing. And that is the thing that always fails, right, when you try to switch between forward and inverse kinematics. So I'm going to invest a little bit of time making this thing works, and it's going to be done maybe by Thursday. So in Thursday I'm going to be dropping this into my ArtStation web page, so you can go and grab it for free, and that will allow you to grab that old character that you maybe sculpt one day, upload it to Mixamo, let Mixamo create the bones and the skinning for you, download a couple of animations, and then bring everything into the engine, and you're going to be able to either animate by hand from scratch, or you're going to be able to assign those animations and bake them to these controls, and be happy then fixing those animations without having to convert these to an epic kind of mannequin situation, or just work with your Mixamo thing, just because it's a lot easier for Mixamo character and external character. So that should open and broaden the range of characters that you can bring inside Unreal and start animating. And that is what we want now. We want this year to be animation. So yeah, with that being said, I'm going to switch to my camera and check out your messages, and let's see. Yeah, it's a lot more complicated, right? So what is happening with this green screen, man? All right, if the sun changes, then the thing changes, and I need to keep playing with the aperture of my camera. All right, now it's working. Yeah, now it's, the sun is coming out, and the thing is too unreliable, but we'll fix it, not to worry. All right, so what we have here, yeah, it seems complicated because it is. Yeah, it is, a new thing. Right, we'd love to how to set up your builds for the handheld camera, Gabriel. Is there a tutorial where you can go through this? Well, in our last live stream, we went through how to use it. I can do it right now. Let me just load up that Other thing, I'm going to close that thing that we were, checking out today. We're not going to save anything, and we're going to open up that other VCAM test. I'm guessing it's here. Yeah. And we can showcase a little bit on how to make those cameras work, right? We need an array ASAP. Yeah, you see why they really want to go that way? Creating arrays for the fingers and stuff like that is like a must thing. I spent, I had like one hand, and nowadays they remove the fact that you could type the actual name of the bone. You need to really actually select it from a drop down. So I wasn't able to even, like swap an R for an L. So I had to go and type like middle, right, with one hand, while with the other hand I was, selecting like middle 1, middle 2, middle 3 for the finger controls. Yeah, it was a fun night last night. But I got it working, and I believe it's going to be best if it is, the old-fashioned way, just because I'm going to have to be, debugging the thing if it's not working, and I probably want it to be as easy as possible, right, for that matter. Yeah, the GLTF, that is in relation to creating the bones and stuff like that. For short films, you use the FK control rig to make adjustment via the sequencer. Is there a way to make the FK control rig scaled up so it's easier to grab parts of it? Let me just check out what you mean by that. So let's go back to Unreal and let's see. Let's address a couple of things. All right. So first thing is I must select this girl right here and delete her, just because it won't allow me to use the cameras if she's there. And let's talk a little bit about that sequencer thing that you just said. All right. So what was it? All right. Yeah, we were talking about the actual Contrabricks. So let's create a sequencer right there, cinematic level sequence, turn it on. Let's drop one of these character, or maybe a new character. So let's go characters and mannequins and meshes, and let's drop these mani down there. And now let's add it to the sequencer, and that's it. All right. So for example, you have the ability, right, to use the Contrabrick, which is great because it has all the controls and it has the ability to, switch from IK to FK, right? But if you just want to do some, fast animation, or correcting some animation, let's, for example, add some, oh, please don't crash. And mind you, this one is 5.1. So yeah, it crashes as many times. Oh my God, it did crash. No, it didn't crash. Wait. Did you crash? No, it didn't. All right, so let's go back. So I just have, the normal animations here. So I'm going to load up the idle animation. And this is for Queen, this is for Manny. So maybe you want to fix some things here with adding, with an additive fashion, right? So instead of, loading the control rig and then bake into controls or do stuff like that, you can easily, right click, right? No, in this case, we're going to track because I want to add the forward kinematic control rig instead of, bake into control. So you go track, you go control rig, and you have the FK control rig right there, all right? Even though you have the availability of having, the actual control rig, you can use this old-fashioned, FK control rig, and this is what you were talking about. Like these things are tiny, right? Those controls, but it may not be that bad. Let me see if we can make it better. So all we need to do now is to right-click on the FK control rig and make it additive. So now it can work on top of the actual animation, right? And now all you need to do, for example, if you want this dude to be doing that, but maybe with his head pointing a little bit down, right? You just need to grab this thing, make him look a little bit down, and set a key. And that's it. Now it's an additive, change that you're doing to your animation right there. That's why I'm not offering the forward kinematic solution for the Mixamo Contrabrick, because you have all these already with the FK Contrabrick, right? So you were asking how to, someone asked like a long time ago, like how to use the auto key. Well, with this one right here. So this thing will, if you turn it on, every time that you have something already with a key, right? You can, move it and it will create an auto key right there, just like Maya, right? It's just with this thing. If you don't want that to happen, and you need to key it by hand, you need to, turn it on. As you see, it will revert to the actual key right there. So this is how you do it. Now, how to make this thing a little bit more visible? Like gizmo scale? No, this is the actual gizmo. Like axis scale? No, this is the axis scale. I don't think there is like a way to do that, but it's not that, difficult. Like if you want to move, I don't know, like this arm, like you try to, if you select the end of the bone, it will select, the full bone. And it's like the easiest way to find. So if you want to move the elbow, I would select like right here. And that is going to select me the actual elbow. Like I don't go and select the actual axis, because that is a lot harder. It's a lot easier, to select the actual bone, right? Like this. And I know, that I'm selecting the elbow of this character by doing that. And then I key it, and then it's going to be on an additive way, like doing this. And maybe I want him to, I'm going to select my auto key and then drop that arm a little bit low. And now he's going to, raise that arm, in time. And then you can play with that animation, making it a little bit, and it will also, so you can, take this animation right here and copy it and paste it. So it has like everything, that you would find from, an AK control. But if you really want to do like good cleaning, you would want to, bake it, delete some keys, and then animate it on top. So you're not fighting, because in an additive way, it's very hard to do some cleaning because you're fighting the movement, right? And what you really want when you clean is to actually have the wrong keys there, and you can watch, the jittering or the spike or whatever you're trying to clean, and then actually selecting those and delete them, and then set the interpolation between, that start and end from that empty part to interpolate correctly with the curve, and, set it on auto or cubic. And that is, how you would go and, fix some animation. Maybe, in the future we will, bring some animation in and, start cleaning it out and see, the whole workflow on how to achieve that, right? All right, what else? So we have, for short film, yeah, the FK Contrabrick to make adjustment via sequencer, it's the way to go for sure. Yeah, the Gavelici team. Yeah, for sure. Is Elena here? Oh, hello. You are Care? Hello, Care? Hello, Elena. Nice having you here. All right, just move the sun in Unreal. Yeah. Hey, Andy, Unreal so buggy when animated in sequencer. Well, you know what? It's like the finest time for a sequencer right now. It used to be a lot, more buggy. It still has its moments, you will start seeing things not going well. Once you start seeing those things, the easiest thing to do is to save everything, close sequencer, and reopen it again. Sometimes that works wonders, to fix those issues. But yeah, it's not like even though it still has a long time, in, the main thing about sequencer is that is fighting, it's fighting the bare nature of Unreal. Unreal is not made for animation, right? Unreal is a piece that wants to run as fast as your video card allows it, and it was time agnostic. Like, it doesn't care about time, seconds, and stuff like that. It really wants to go all the way, as fast as it can, always, right? Because that is how it's designed. So sequencer is doing, is trying to control all that power. So it's trying to give time and frames to something that is frame agnostic. So yeah, it's hard. It's hard. It's like going against the current of what Unreal really is. And, you pay the consequences by, having those kind of issues, in terms of um, crashes and stuff like that. But it's getting better. Sequencer has been reading up from the ground up, rereading from the ground up like a bunch of times. And I'm guessing this last time is getting a lot better. I'm not having such issues. I'm not really animating too much on it, lately. But from the tests that I have been doing, it's really working, you know, a lot better. And I know that it is the focus right now of Unreal, so it may get better sooner than later. If you got a bit of time, could you go into replication setup for animation BP in a character blueprint? The replication setup, as if I have some control rig morph target exposed on the anim graph, then control them from the character BP, but they're not replicated on the client side. All right, yeah. So replication might be something, way and above of, what we're trying to explain today. But what it does, what it means is that Unreal is multiplayer, right? So you're expecting the thing to work flawlessly once you start, doing some multiplayer thing. And the thing is that it's not an easy thing, because by default, Unreal won't replicate everything. So what replication means is that you have, a server and you have a client, or you have two clients and one of those is working as a server, and you want everything that happens on this side to replicate on this side, right? And that usually is not how you devise, your multiplayer games. And that is simply because, there are many things happening, on both sides, and you want the minimum amount, to be replicated from one side to the other. So by default, Unreal only, allows things like the transformation of, a character BP, and the actual animation firing from the character BP and the animation BP. But not every channel is open or replicated by default. So you need to go and dig out, what you really want and set those replication nodes in the events. So Unreal knows that it must be replicated. And again, that is a lot harder, when you start, knowing that you can replicate to clients or you can replicate to server, and there are both different things, and they both have different applications, because you don't want people to be cheating or abusing the system. So you want all the things to replicate through the server, so the server can alter what should be replicated, and you cannot change or cheat in that sense, right? Because you have all the controls by the server. But sometimes you want things to replicate pretty fast, so you really want the thing to be like peer-to-peer, right? So client-to-client replication. And that is another kind of worms that you can open up and start checking out. So that might be a thing that we might invite you to the actual thing. And so let's set up like a Zoom, and let's check out your project, and do like a master class of gaming animation out of it. You think that could be like a possibility? Let me know your times. Let's do like a podcast out of animation for games and replication for client server applications. All right, is that good? Right, cool, cool, cool. So, isn't better to create a control brick instead of using FK to animate more controls? Yes and no. The thing is that depending, so the best thing in the world should be like having a control brick with, forward and inverse kinematics on it. And when you want to start animating by default, you want everything to be IK, right? Because it's easier, to set up your motions and stuff. And you want at some point, to be switching forward and back through, forward kinematics and inverse kinematic, because forward kinematic is great for context, but then IK kinematic is great for context, and FK kinematic is good for pendulum type of movement. So when you have some guy moving his hands, you want that motion to happen through an axis, and that is best done with FK. All right. But the actual switching, it's hard, for the console break, and sometimes you're going to have issues when the shoulder pops and do strength things. And also there is a thing that will happen if you try to bake two controls on IKs, and that is that you're going to have a degradation of your initial take. All right, so you have like an animation, right, and you want to bake it to controls. Be sure always that you bake to FK controls, not IK controls, because if you go the way of the IK control, you might have a little bit of degradation on those, pole vectors. And if you need to do that thing a couple of times, if you bake from animation to controls and to controls to animation, and then back and forth a couple of times, you're going to find out that you're going to have, stretching issues or, popping issues of the joints, because it's not perfect. So there is always, a use of the FK control brick because it works additively. So if you do that, you're only really messing up with just a couple of joints, and you end up with the exact same take with just a little bit of adjustment. And that is mostly what you want to do when you're cleaning up, or when you're using, doing some mocap, cleaning or modification. So I found out that the FK control brick is really, really useful in that regard. It will allow you to have a very clean way of working with a result that will not be altered, much. So it's like a very good way of working sometimes, right? What is, that's what I thought, but then I got stuck trying to making control bricks for my FBX imports. Yeah, I'm guessing like very, very shortly, right? We're going to have like some sort of universal control brick that will, you're going to have to do like some sort of, nowadays we do have the IK retargeting, and we do have those assets where you set your chains and everything. It should be possible that in the future, if you set up one of those IK IK retargeting assets, you should be able to create a control brick out of that, because you have all the information that an that a control brick needs, to be created. So soon enough, maybe just by informing Unreal of, all the bones and what they are, representing, in terms of a control, maybe you should be able to create a control brick for universal, use. We are not far from there, for sure. Oh, the auto key, for sure. My pleasure. So, yes, totally. Me too. Is more work to create a control brick? Yeah, sometimes. I want to know if there is a way to take the control brick from a mani and apply it to another custom character. Well, if that custom character happens to be a mannequin compatible skeleton, right? So if it is some character that it is from the Epic Marketplace, you should be able to switch it, right? The way to do it is really, really easy. And nowadays it should be a lot easier. Maybe we should jump into Unreal and try to do it. Because now with the construction, with the construction script, it doesn't matter. Like the only thing that matters is that the naming convention is exactly the same, and that you have the same number of bones in a chain. Once you have that, you should be able to simply duplicate the control brick and assign a new mesh to that control brick, and it's just like that, and it should be working out of the gate. But then again, if you have a very customized character that you created on an external DCC, or if you have some sort of DAS, type of skeleton, or you have some sort of other, provider of characters, yeah, you're going to have to do your own control brick. It's just simply the way to go. Not only in Unreal, but even in Blender or in Maya, you're going to have to devise your own control brick for that character. All right, what else? Yes. Glad I'm not the only one having issues with what seems like it should be a basic thing. Yeah, sometimes things looks basic, but got it. Thank you. Nice. Hope Epic Games pull that feature out very soon. I mean, it shouldn't be hard to do, really. Now that we just look at those brand new control bricks, they are prepared to do some sort of that thing, right? Like creating chains and having those chains in the same order as the controls, and then the thing is just pairing them out, right? So you have a bone, a list of bones and a list of controls, and then the thing should match, right? It should go connect this to this to that, this to that, and at some point you will have a full control brick working like pretty easy. Just get stuck in the graph editor instead on how it's done in Blender, for example. Well, in Blender it's not that different. You have, if you're working with the Blender, I can't remember the name of the IK, it is Rigify, right? So Rigify has its own, outer brick, but you must go through the connecting part. So you must set up, what is, root, what is a hip, what is a shoulder, what is an upper arm or lower arm, a hand, and the thing will create that thing for you. All right, and you can add different pieces if you have a non-standard character like with horns or wings or tail, and you can add those different things. So in that sense, Rigify is a lot further into auto creating a control brick, but I'm guessing like very soon we will have some of that inside Unreal. Well, you should not know C++ for doing that. There are ways nowadays to create Python scripts that will be able to create like the same control brick that you would have, for example, in Maya, and then export it right to Unreal. In fact, there is one auto rigger in Maya, a plugin for Maya that I can't remember the name of it. It might be Auto Rigger or something like that, that will have the Python script that you can run inside Unreal, and it will create from thin air, a new control brick that happens to be exactly the same one that you have in Maya. So the thing is amazing, because if you had some, animators that know how to animate in that brick inside Maya, if you move them right to Unreal, they will have the same experience control brick in there, so they should be able to animate, just like that inside Unreal. Yeah, I mean, naming conventions for bones are strange. Unreal follows one of the most, common ones. So, in the future, maybe we may start, checking other people, following the same way. And if you're creating one on your own, you might follow that Alistar. I can't remember the name of the guy, but it's the Alistar. It has its own GitHub page, and many people follow that naming convention for everything, right? And it has a bone convention that if you follow it, it will be like the exact thing that Unreal uses. Again, now talking about this also, we have the character creator from iClone, and the great thing about that one is that you are able to export characters so you can work internally with its own, set of bones and naming convention. But when you export it, you can export it with the mannequin, option. And that is great because, it translates the whole thing into, mannequin language. And, you can exchange, animations between iClone and Real pretty easy without having to go through the retargeting stuff. So many others, character creators software, might start, to do that thing. Or at least you could use iClone as the middleman, because I know that you can bring stuff from DAS Marketplace into iClone, and then, animate it in iClone, or it does like the swap from the DAS, you know, characterization of bones and stuff, and it changes to the internal iClone skeleton, and from there you can bring it out to Unreal without any issues. So iClone does that for things from Maya and from 3D Max. So iClone could be your middleman to make everything Unreal mannequin sort of characterization. The only bad thing is that it is incredibly, expensive to use iClone. But again, if you are very savvy into creating those kind of characters in Maya, and you want them inside Unreal without having to go through all the silly things of creating your own Contrabrick inside, you can spend a little bit of money. You can bring them to iClone, and then you can bring them converted to a mannequin type of convention, and use the Contrabrick from Unreal if you want to. Yeah, it may not even the pricing is the fact that you need to buy like too many things to make it work completely. Like, all right, so you need to have the character creator, but if you need to bring those to iClone, then you need to buy iClone. And then if you need to then bring it outside of iClone, or having something from Maya to work in iClone, then you need to buy Exchange. And so now it's Exchange plus iClone and plus character creator, and the things start going up and up and up. And then you want the Unreal Engine direct connect plugin, and then the things keeps adding, and once you check out your bill, it's like $3,000 for the full workflow thing that you might use like twice a year. And so yeah, maybe I would wait and see what would happen with Contrabrick inside Unreal, because it's going to be for free. And that's always a nice combination of words, right? For free. All right. So that's it for today. So today, there is not going to be a freebie, but, as I just told you, I'm working on it. It's going to be that Mixamo Contrabrick that is going to be for you for free forever. And as soon as I got it, I will post it on ArtStation. And then for sure on Thursday, we might go back and do another live and see if we can make it to 3,000 subscribers. Or even, just check those new, that could be like a repeating thing, right? Checking out all the free content for the month, because they are pretty cool. I love to just install them once, check them out, go a full runabout and see what they are made of, right? You learn a lot by just doing that. I know that that's how I started learning about Unreal. So yeah, for sure, catch you on the next one. And with that being said, I love you all very much. I want you to love each other and take care of each other very much. And I will catch you in the next one. All right? Be sure to subscribe, and see you very soon. Bye-bye.